Hello everyone, this is Gene. I'm back with another video. Now this is a fairly rare Sunday video. I don't often do videos on Sunday because I try to relax on Sunday or I'm doing chores on Sunday or whatnot. But I just wanted to briefly share this tweet from the Calibur account because it touches upon something that I've often touched upon in my videos about art or visual expression or just the way characters look in visual mediums such as video games and comic books, right? In fact, just last night I did a video, going over a series of tweets where there was a debate over whether or not She-Hulk should be beautiful, and of course I'm on the side of yes, She-Hulk should always be beautiful, and I explained in that video why. But I really like this tweet from the Soul Calibur account, and I want to share it because of the fact that it says in this simple tweet what I've been trying to say across several videos for probably almost 3 years now with this account, with this YouTube channel and everything. I think I started in like December of 2018, so assuming that I'm still making videos by December of 2021, which I probably should be, but life happens. And assuming I'm still making videos by that point, you know, uh, this I think really encapsulates what I've been trying to say for the past over 2 years now, right? So it says here, in the background of Huang, I think that's how you say it, right? Huang, is a storm, symbolizing his own powerful confrontation with fate. And a Taiji diagram, we would also in the U.S. know it as the yin yang symbol, right? In a diagram suggesting a new tactic of Taoism by aligning the composition with Mina's, meaning Mina, who is a character often connected with Huang, because if you are familiar with the original Soul Blade game, which yes, I did play back in the day, the intro to that game is still boss. Uh, Huang is the best student of Sun Mina's father, right? And Sun Mina's the rebellious daughter. She wants to prove herself to her father and to Huang and all this other stuff, right? So it's aligning the composition between Huang and Sung Mina, right? It says here the elements are different but have a similar expression, which of course has always sort of been the theme of the yin yang symbol, right? Darkness and light, male and female, sort of balancing each other out and having a little bit of each in the other and all that stuff, right? But this is why art is so important, especially in a visual medium like comic books or video games where there's not too many words, right? Think about it. Even a comic book, right? Because yes, comic books certainly have dialogue and you have, boxes describing scenes or where you are or whatnot. So there is some text there, right? But video games and comic books in particular differ from, say, novels, right? Or even things like radio or TV, right? In that they're, I would say, primary means of communication, right? Especially in video games, is visual, right? Especially if you go back to older video games. Remember, the Soul Calibur game started in the mid 1990s, I think around 1996 or something. And Huang was in the first game, so he's actually a very long-lived character. But in something that is primarily a visual medium, the art must speak. There must be a visual narrative so that the reader or the player or whatnot gets an idea of some sort of who this character is and what they represent, right? A character design is a huge piece of that character's narrative. It's as much a part of their story as what is expressed in the ending, what is expressed in cutscenes, or if you're from the old school like I am, right, when you would go through the instruction manual and look up the character bios, right? Or with older games like the OG Mortal Kombat games where they would have like a bio section that would tell you, give you a general idea of like each character's reason for being in the tournament, right? The characters' visual design, right? Especially their primary one, right? The secondary ones aren't as important because they're more like optional costumes, but their primary design, their player one look, if you want to call it that, right, is incredibly important because it's telling you a story, right? Valdo doesn't look the way he does just for the hell of it. Ivy doesn't look the way she does just for the hell of it. Sungmina doesn't look the way she does just for the hell of it. There is a story being told here. And this is in huge part why I and many other people are so against when character designs, especially of well known, beloved characters, are so drastically, radically altered, right? Because you're not just altering. Here's what a lot of people, like the person who was a Kaiser or whatnot in the previous video, was like, well, I like a muscular She-Hulk. What's the big deal? I don't care if she's feminine. But here's the thing, and here's why it's important to be respectful of the original design. Because to drastically change, again, right, this is art. Art is subjective, and especially in a long running series, of course, there's going to be alternate depictions of a particular character, right? The same old look eventually gets stale. We see this even in humans, right? People change their physical appearance all the time, right? Your weight goes up, your weight goes down. Fashions change, right? Hairstyles change, hair color changes. We all understand that one's physical appearance is indeed going to change, whether in reality or whether in fantasy. But when you make such drastic changes, especially in art, where art is symbolic, very little art is meant to be realistic or to depict someone as they are, right? You look at like busts or pictures these days of like the president or other important figures in history or political figures. Those images, right, are very idealized, right? They may be accurate in the sense that it looks like the person that it's supposed to be, but they're still highly idealized, right? They're not going to be showing the gray hairs. They're not going to be showing the pimples and all this other stuff, right? It's still a very sanitized, idealized image, which is not accurate to what the person actually looks like, right? So again, art is incredibly symbolic, right? It is symbolic, it is representative, not of what is, but what people want it to be. It is not about reality or realism in most instances. If you want realism, the only time I can think of it where it regularly pops up is probably if you're like a sketch artist or whatever working for the police, where you have to create an accurate depiction of a criminal. And even then, that can be difficult because you're going on how a particular person described the other human, right? You don't have a recent picture or anything to base it on, right? But outside of that, that's about the only time I can think of where art is meant to actually be a realistic, accurate depiction of a person, right? Most art, especially with art like this, right, the type of thing you find in a video game or the type of thing that you find um, in a comic book, is not even really about a depiction of a particular real life person. It's more a depiction of an idea, what that character represents, right? The She-Hulk form represents an empowered, uninhibited woman, right? Wolverine in all of his hair and anger and rage, right, represents a particular element of the masculine identity, right? Characters like Superman or Captain America, right, represent the paragon ideal of American, or what we like to term here in America as American values, right? Truth, justice, and the American way, right? That's what they represent. They don't necessarily represent people, they are the visual expression of certain ideas. And then people become attached to the character that is built around this expression of a particular idea. So when you alter that visual representation, you're altering the idea itself. For example, with She Hulk, as I did a video yesterday on, to take the She Hulk form, not Jen Walters, the regular person, but to take the She Hulk form, which is meant to represent the idealized woman, right? Strength and beauty. She's uninhibited. She's flirty. She has fun, right? This free spirited woman, right? The visual expression of a woman who is completely confident and comfortable in herself. When you take that depiction of an idealized woman, yes, even if it is coming from a man's brain, ultimately, but still, when you take that depiction of an idealized woman and you make the ideal, right? What she represents, the ideal, when you change her look and you make her look, let's say, less than beautiful, some would say grotesque, but when you make her look less than ideal, when you make her look less than beautiful, you are now changing what she literally means as a character, what she literally represents, right? Now the She Hulk form is meant to represent anger and rage and aggression, right? Pain and depression. She now represents the Hulk. Just one problem. She was never meant to be Banner Hulk, as I explained in the other video, right? Let a character be what they're supposed to be. Can you make a few changes here and there? Sure. Sure. Can you add on to a character's story or their mythos? Sure, that's how characters are, made and built, right? People tell stories and they add on elements. Certain elements are accepted by the fans, certain elements aren't. And that's all fine, well, and good. But, but in with the exception of very, very few instances, there's absolutely no reason to alter the fundamental idea that a character is based around, what they visually represent, right? Huang here represents the storm, right? That's what he represents. He is the storm, right? It says here, the storm is symbolizing his confrontation with fate. To take that away, right? To take away that storm cloud behind him would be to effectively alter his entire character. To take away the yin yang symbol, right, would be to take away his connection and association with Sung Mina, right? I guess the only thing I find funny about this is that the Tai Jutsu, the yin yang symbol, I believe comes from Chinese philosophy, and Huang is Korean. So I just find that a bit interesting. But again, it isn't about necessarily being accurate. It's about being symbolic. He is the storm. He is the other half that balances Mina out, right? As the tweet says here, right? The elements are different but have a similar expression. If you take those elements away from him, then it's not Huang anymore. Then it's just some Korean dude with a sword. And that's not what Huang is. That's not what any of the characters in Soul Calibur are, right? Uh, uh, so so Vitia looks a certain way because she represents a certain idea, right? The idealized Greek warrior, right? And also the idealized, wife, mother, and all that, right? Um, Siegfried, being the knight in shining armor despite being having a very dark past, right? Taki is your standard ninja character. Of course, you have Ivy with that dominatrix look because she is trying to take control of her own destiny, right? And then, of course, Baldo having a equal but opposite look because he is the willing submissive. He is the willing slave to his master's dying wish and desires. These designs, and I want to be clear. You don't have to like a particular look. You could think Baldo's look is totally going way too far. You could think Ivy's look is going way, way too far. You don't have to like a character's visual design. But I think you should understand what that visual design is trying to communicate. There's a story there. You may not like how it looks, but there is a story there. That story is being expressed through their looks, and that story should be respected. Another channel that I follow that does these type of like character design breakdowns that I think really does good work is Sugar Punch Design Works. I think it is. I think it's called. Right, they've done videos on Ivy and they've done videos on Devil May Cry and several other works where they break down the not just the symbolism but the history of how a particular character's look came to be and how their look helps tell the overall story over the games that they appear in. I think they do very awesome work. So I think that if you're interested in this type of sort of like breakdown of character design and symbolism, they're definitely a great channel to check out. Right? At times I have disagreed with them, MK11 for example, but again, doesn't mean that they don't do great great work. But yeah, I think I've rambled on long enough. I hope that I've gotten to the point, and yeah, I hope everyone's having a good Sunday, or depending where you are, it might still be Saturday or it could be Monday. If it's Monday, well, happy Monday, I guess. So I'll see you all around in the next one. Have a good day or night wherever you are. Bye.